All right. This is the big one. If I look tired, it's because I just woke up to this news, and I think a lot of people who are watching this for the first time are waking up to this news, especially in the United States. Looks like Israel has declared a war. Of course, their region is known for having a lot of conflicts, so let's try to dig into this and see what we know or don't know, because this is just happening as we speak. But Israel is saying it looks like we are at a war. Now, of course, it's hard to declare a war on an enemy that's not technically a professional military. But here we go. We're going to try to get through this and see what we can learn together. Thank you guys for being here. Very early stream. And I will be posting this video. Okay. So first question. War on who? Palestinian militant group Hamas. That's always going to be Israel's number one enemy. The Palestinian militant group Hamas launched a surprise and unprecedented land, sea, and air attack, which is relatively different, on Israel, which its leader said including 5,000 rockets. Dang. That's a lot. I mean, even for the United States, to defend yourself from 5,000 rockets? Someone says this is nothing new. That is pretty new. 5,000 rockets is no joking matter. Again, if you're watching this live, make sure to like the stream so we can get the news out there, because this is just happening. Very new and different. Thank you. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin, can never say his last name, Netanyahu, responded saying the country was at war with Hamas. They've always technically been at war, but I think this time he means an offensive. That reservists would be called up to boost the armed forces, which is another indicator. The enemy will pay a price it has never known before. So again, Israel has always had this policy of if you take us out, we'll take 30 of you guys out. It's a very devastating factor of the conflicts out there. Netanyahu. Thank you. Netanyahu. At least 22 Israelis have been taken out, but I'm almost positive that number is higher. After 5,000 rockets. Health officials said Palestine media reported 6 have been taken out in the Gaza Strip. Social media videos showing militant fighters driving around Israel, and I gotta be careful with some of these words, and popping off weapons. One group was seen driving an Israeli military vehicle. And yeah, this has been the highest escalation of tensions between Hamas and Israel in years. That's why I'm saying this is definitely a lot different. And for Israel to say you're going to see something you've never seen before is not good. Now this right here, we're going to go through the news cycle and sort of see the escalation here. Hamas takes Israeli soldier hostage. This alone would be enough to pull up all the reservists. So this right here is a really big deal. Yeah, Israel is declaring war 100%. Hamas militants say they have taken Israeli soldiers hostage and moved them to the Gaza Strip. The military wings of Hamas shared a video on Telegram. Man, Telegram is just like this application that gets... I mean, Russia uses them, Ukraine uses them. It's pretty crazy. Again, if you're just joining live, Israel is declaring going to war with Hamas. Legit. Make sure you guys are liking this live stream. Got to post this. Boost the news out there. It has a number of soldiers in its grip, so you don't know how many Israeli soldiers they have. Huh. Again, this is all just happening. This is very sad. I'll tell you that right now. This is the part that I think is rather crazy. The 5,000 rocket thing and being from air, sea, land. We've never seen anything like this in Israel. The early morning assault on southern Israel is not just unprecedented. Nothing on this scale has ever been contemplated, said Mitchell. So obviously they've been stockpiling and waiting. This is not something the Israeli government was prepared for. I don't think any government could be prepared for this, to be honest with you. Mitchell said she found it especially remarkable that Palestine militants waged a complex assault by land, air, and sea. The chaos now unfolding is Israel's represents a crisis for the U.S. as well as Israel. So again, yeah, from a U.S. perspective, I have zero idea what we're gonna do about it. Yeah, I'm sure Twitter has some pretty bad clips. I definitely cannot show that on here, unfortunately. Somebody asked, if USA takes a stand with Israel, isn't that make them hypocrites because they are supporting Ukraine to take their land back and letting Israel take in Palestine? Yeah, I mean that's what it is. I mean, I don't know what the United States is going to do. The United States, I think, will always stand with Israel. But in this case, this seems to be like a fight that only Israel could really take on right now. Yeah, like the live stream. Yeah, it looks like a lot of very bad photos. Man. Definitely nobody expected this, I'll tell you that. I mean, you expect there to be conflict out there, but nothing like this. Here we go, we got a video. Let's play this video.
כולה בבקשה להתרחק מהחלונות, כולה בבקשה להתרחק מהחלונות.
All right. Let's see what Reuters has to say. Yeah, somebody said Iron Dome can't block low altitude. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I don't know. Iron Dome is effective, but when you have 5,000 missiles coming in, I don't know how effective the Iron Dome really can be. Yeah, again, if you're watching this live, make sure you're liking the live stream. We got 100 people in here. We're trying to push this out, so I know people in the United States are just waking up and hearing about this. Not that all of you guys are from the U.S., but oofa. Yeah, a lot of people are saying 20 people were taken out. So 20 people were taken out, Israelis, and we have another Israeli soldier that's been captured. Our enemy will pay a price, the type which has never been known. I'm curious what that means. A lot of people always assume, well, that means it's going to be nukes. I doubt that. You can't nuke a civilian population. I'm in Mexico. Shout out Mexico. The Israeli military said it had responded with airstrikes into Gaza. So we already do have a response, which is pretty quick. Somebody's saying 35 captured. Yeah. Gaza said they had soldiers, plural, but they didn't say how many. We're witnessing, reported hearing, having explosions. Damn. So it looks like Israel already did respond. The attack marked an unprecedented infiltration into Israel by an unknown number of Hamas. Yeah, so this is also crazy. It's not only rockets. It's like they crossed into the country. So I'm trying to figure out, where is the defense systems? Like, where are the border guards? Cough, cough, Russia. I think it's a different country in the Middle East. Starts with the letter I. Anybody want to take a guess? The attack, unprecedented infiltration into Israel by an unknown number of Hamas gunmen crossing into the Gaza Strip. Heaviest blow for Israel in the conflict with Palestine since, I can't say that word, since 2 decades ago. The militant group had joined the attacks and was holding several Israelis captive. Here, let's see if there's another update. Dang. Yeah, this is definitely not a good piece of history, but it's definitely some history. Here, let's see what this is.
Raf, we've been following you this morning, but we need to know, what is the latest you can share with us?
Well, Katie, Israelis woke up this morning to find their worst nightmares had come true in the form of this massive surprise attack by Palestinian militants from Gaza, crossing over the border into Israel. as we speak, Palestinian gunmen are inside Israeli towns, cities, and potentially military bases in the south of Israel. They are fighting running gun battles against Israeli forces on a scale that we have never seen before. As you said, these Palestinian militants crossing over by land, by sea, and by air. And when we say by air, they flew over the Gaza border in paragliders, which, again, something Israel has never.
Did you hear that? They flew into Israel with paragliders. Did you guys hear that? What? That is insane. That is, again, that is a whole new level, son. That, like, you can't stop that. Again, regardless of whose side you're on, that is, I mean, you got to call it as it is. That's actually impressive. I mean, that's scary impressive. Yeah, you can't do anything about that. I mean, the United States military, we do halo jumps where we'll drop you off from like 30 miles away and you glide in because you can't do nothing about it. That is insane. Let me replay that again because I did not expect that. They're not talking about that. That to me is the impressive part. Holy cow. Yeah, I mean, they came in by air, sea, and land for sure.
South of Israel, they are fighting running gun battles against Israeli forces on a scale that we have never seen before. As you said, these Palestinian militants crossing over by land, by sea, and by air. And when we say by air, they flew over the Gaza border in paragliders, which, again, something Israel has never seen before. Most alarmingly, the Hamas militant group, which controls Gaza, says it has taken Israelis hostage and it has taken them inside of the Gaza Strip. Now, Israel, as a government, as a people, as a nation, will go to almost any length to get its people back, whether they are alive or whether they are dead. And if it is the case that there are Israelis being held inside of Gaza, the government of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu may feel he has no choice but to launch a large-scale ground offensive into the Gaza Strip to get those people.
I'm sorry, but he's questioning whether or not Israel's going to send in a ground invasion. Bro, if you're hand gliding into your country and you captured soldiers, that's something different. I mean, they're going to send in everything they got to get those guys back. I don't know how anybody defends from that. I mean, even the United States had spy balloons flying over it. Yeah, make sure you guys are liking the live stream. Boost this out to the people who are just waking up.
Back. On the numbers, Katie, the Israeli emergency services, some of whom you can see behind me, say that 22 Israelis are confirmed dead. But I can tell you, based on these truly harrowing videos we are seeing on social media, which appear to show the bodies of both Israeli soldiers and civilians, everyone in this country is bracing for a death toll rising higher still. You may be able to see, Katie, a group of Israeli police special forces appear to be going past us here on motorcycles. They are heading south to where these gun battles are continuing between Palestinian gunmen and Israeli forces. This is normally one of the busiest highways in southern Israel. You can see right now it has been closed by Israeli security forces. They are checking every single.
Hey, thank you for the $10 donation. Eric Mason. First F-22 air-to-air taken out. Balloon first F-35 air-to-air taken out. Glider. These people fighting in different centuries. I mean, yeah, they're fighting in different centuries. That is for sure. But again, I don't support the opposition there. You do have to give respect, or you have to give them credit. I mean, again, I don't even think the United States would do something like that. They would definitely drop you in with parachutes. But I'm thinking, like, did they drop in from a mountaintop? Did somebody fly them up? Like, that is insane. That's insane. It's one of those things where when you have too good of technology, sometimes the lesser of the technologies is better. Like, you know, like these new cars. I can't fix my new car with these electronics. Kidding. But hey, thank you again for the $10 donation. And make sure you guys like the stream, because most likely the stream will be taken down due to the subject matter.
Single car that is coming
Not by me, by YouTube.
from the south to make sure that there are not more Palestinian gunmen inside trying to head north up to Tel Aviv towards Jerusalem.
Somebody left a good comment. How could they... I like that comment. How could they infiltrate into Israel to such an extent? Complacency. That's just straight up complacency. First off, the 5,000 rocket thing, you can only stop so many. But unfortunately, the opposition has as much time as they want and need. They can do whatever they want. They can operate however they want. And they just have all the time in the world to wait to attack Israel. And so when you think about it, they said it's been 2 decades since we've seen something like this. It's a long time to drop a plan. Someone's like, let's drop in with hand gliders. We're going to launch all these attacks. We'll come in by the sea. Israel can only look in so many directions. I mean, look, these countries are not unstoppable. These are people too.
Towards the northeast, and every few minutes we are seeing more Israeli reinforcements heading south in the form of special forces. We have seen trucks carrying more of these Iron Dome missile interceptors driving south, trying to stop what has been a barrage of more than 2,000 rockets fired over the course of the day. Now, these rockets have been deadly in and of themselves. We have seen pillars of smoke from Israeli towns, cities all across the south of Israel. But the rockets appear to have been essentially air cover for this ground offensive. Yeah. And Katie, I just got off the phone.
Yeah. Again, I think the rocket attack was not meant to be the actual attack. It was meant to be the whole, hey, look, watch out, you're getting hit from the top, the sky. That's not a rocket, that's a guy flying in. Someone's saying you're confused because of the words you can't say. Okay, you have Israel, you have Hamas. Hamas is Israel's opposition. They're fighting in an area called Palestine. Israel doesn't recognize Palestine. Hamas recognizes Palestine. And they're both fighting in this contested area. Hamas just did a rocket attack of 2,000 to 5,000 rockets, but we're now just finding out those rockets didn't mean anything. It was actually, they came in by air, sea, land, not that they're Navy SEALs, but they came in with paragliders, they came in with trucks, and apparently they came in through the sea. They've taken people captive, they've taken out other people, and again, the complexity of this attack is very hard to pull off. This is not an easy attack because when you're launching that many rockets, you have a massive contingent force in Palestine. Israel is saying that they are at war and they're going to launch something that they've never seen before. I hope that broke it down for you a little bit easier.
With an Israeli official, he says to me, based on what he's seeing, the scale of the fighting, that there are at minimum hundreds of Palestinian gunmen who were involved in this attack.
Yeah.
And he says the correct word to use right now is invasion. Israel has not been caught off guard like this since October of 1973, exactly 50 years ago.
Okay, so that answers the main question of how could they have pulled this off? When you have 50 years to practice another invasion or to practice something, that's a long time. Now, obviously, they're not sitting around a table being like, okay, in 50 years, we'll attack. But the main thing is they have time to think about what they want to do. And they have time to get arms from other nations. Wild.
We are, Katie, just seeing what appear to be some rockets in the sky behind us. The sirens are not going off, so we're good to continue talking to you here. You have to go back to our cameraman is just pointing here to their jets.
That's
my
crazy.
camera operator Dave Copeland is saying these appear to be Israeli Air Force jets who are already carrying out strikes inside of Gaza. As you said, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
The other thing, too, is that Israel already has designated targets within Gaza Strip, Palestine, if you will. I don't even know what we call it anymore at this point. But Israel already has these designated targets in case something does pop off. So this is Israel also has had time to prepare for something, not like this big, but they definitely have designated selected targets of, hey, if they hit us, we already know, let's go after this building, this building. I mean, Israel is constantly under surveillance and constantly watching the opposition. Where do you think the Palestinian Air Force ranks, higher or lower than the average GTA V lobby? Hey, I think they might be a little above GTA. I have been wondering about what vulnerabilities have been exposed from the implementing the Iron Dome consistently. This is a sign that a country can't only be defensive. That's right. Yeah, Iron Dome I don't think was ready for hand gliders. I'm really curious if there's a video about that. That would be crazy.
Has declared Israel is a nation at war. Israeli airstrikes inside of Gaza have already begun, but I think it is safe to say that what we are seeing now is just the beginning of what may ultimately be a much, much larger offensive. Katie, just for a little historical context here, you have to go back exactly 50 years to October 6, 1973, when Israel was caught off guard by a combined Egyptian-Syrian invasion. It is known in the history books as the Yom Kippur War. It is an event where people who are old enough to remember it will tell you that they truly feared Israel was going to be wiped off the map. The nation of Israel is not going to be wiped off the map today, but this is a day that feels like it may change Israeli history forever.
I agree too. I mean, we're living in the moment right now. I don't want to be emotional about it, but definitely in 2023, with Israel being as technologically advanced as it is, for sure this is something where they're like, oh, okay, this is new. We actually got invaded. We actually got attacked. We have people who've been captured. Do we need to make revisions and reforms on our defense policy? Do we need to strike first? Do we need to be more aggressive? And how do you fight? And the other thing too, it's like, what do you do? How do you fight a group who blends in with the population? It's a no-win situation for Israel. All right, so we're at 40 people, unfortunately, which I knew that number was higher. Who wants to hear what Joe Biden has to say? All right, please don't fall asleep on me. Here we go. Biden was briefed on the events in Israel early this morning, and I don't know why. I know this is not funny, but I don't know why I'm assuming Biden wakes up and he's like eating eggs and he's just like, all right, tell me about the brief. So he says, no, Joe, please, no. Guys, please don't leave the stream. I have to read this. President Biden was fully briefed about the unfolding events in Israel early Saturday morning, a White House official told NBC News. The White House will provide a full readout of any calls the president makes in response to the attacks, a separate senior official said. Another official indicated the White House and National Security Council were surprised by the attack. Really? Thank you, Joe. No, not the sleeping emojis. I'm trying to think, do I continue this stream or do I just wait until we get more news? Because this is what it is. We're getting this live. Hey, Saudi Arabia, though, coming in clutch. At least they're saying stop. Saudi Arabia's foreign ministry called for an immediate halt to the escalation between the two sides. Good thing. The protection of civilians and restraint in a statement posted to X, which did not mention Hamas. The ministry added to it had issued repeated warnings over the likelihood of escalating violence as a result of the continued occupation and deprivation of Palestine, people of their legitimate rights. So again, Saudi Arabia playing the 50-50 card, but they're always going to stand with Palestine. Come on now. I mean, it's a Islamic nation. Saudi Arabia has traditionally been a staunch supporter of Palestinian statehood and has historically provided funding for Hamas. There you go. Say how you think Israel will respond. They're already responding with their jets, but I think they're going to invade, and I think they're going to try and occupy Palestine. That is my opinion. Because not only is this pretty detrimental to Israel, this is also very embarrassing, and it opens up some holes. It shows that Israel has some issues here. But it also is a threat to the rest of the world for anybody who's dealing with fighters who are not a professional military force. As the United States has learned in Afghanistan, it's very hard to fight these guys. especially in the rules of war. You can fight these guys, but you'll take out a lot of people who are not these guys. Hamas. Let's talk about the Iron Dome failing. I don't know if it necessarily failed, but it definitely didn't. It's not a 100% defense rate. Let's actually look it up. Iron Dome success rate. If you guys can see this, 85 to 90% success rate. 90%. But how does it work if there's 5,000 rockets? Like, you know, I don't know if that's just relative. I'm not an Iron Dome expert. I was a combat engineer. I did the explosions on the ground, not on the air. This is saying 97% success rate after 580 rockets. So if we times that, multiply it, you can deduce probably down to 87%. That's that basic college math. Yeah. All right, I mean, what else do you guys want to see? We just keep getting more and more bad news here. I mean, this is what's crazy. Hamas, they use like horses and chariots, and these guys were able to infiltrate, again, Israel, one of the most technologically advanced militaries in the world. It goes to show, man, it's not necessarily all about technology. If there's motivation behind the attack, if there's patience and planning, you can get it done. Where the heck did they get so many rockets? If I had to take a guess, it's probably Iran. Yeah, so that's pretty much what we know. Again, it's interesting with the whole jets. Hold on. Into Gaza. Yeah, look, now Gaza's being attacked. So it's already going back and forth. Israel takes out Gaza. German airline Lufthansa cuts flights to Israel. Here we go. Economic impacts happening, which again is another means to war. We have a big number of Israeli captives, including senior officers. Like, how? Like, what? Are these guys just not ready? Again, make sure you guys are liking the live stream so we can push this news out. Malta asks the UN Security Council for meeting after attacks in Israel. Oof. Man, they're saying, though, on the Palestinian side, 160 have been taken out. So we already have very high numbers on both sides. Again, very unfortunate. This is not something you want to see. And 1,000 have been wounded. Again, Israel has the policy of if you take one of us out, we take 50 of you guys out. As we know right now, 40 Israelis have been taken out. 160 Palestinians have been taken out. The U.S. says it will work to ensure Israel has what it needs to defend itself. So there you go. There's that answer for the United States. And the UK, EU, and Ukraine have condemned Hamas. An advisor to Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Hassani Khamenei says that Iran supported the Palestinian. Like, I just said that. Did I not just say Iran supported this? I mean, it's all. This is like history repeats itself, guys. This is not. I mean, look. If you just study a little bit of history, you'll know that Iran, like, whatever, they're all about this. They're trying to take back Palestine. The Lebanese armed group Hezbollah, it's in direct contact with the leadership of Palestinian resistance. So there you go. You have Iran confirmation that they were involved. Confirmed. T-SPLY said it. Ta-da. Man, I'm such an expert for knowing probably the easiest thing ever to predict. Real question is, what's their objective? This. They've completed their objective. To totally embarrass Israel, to see how far they can get into Israel, capture Israeli objectives, which include ground targets, which include personnel. They did it. This was mission success for the first time in 50 years of a non-professional military defeating a military in 2023. I mean, this is almost like the Viet Cong style attacks here. History repeats itself, says a comment. Indeed, this has been happening over and over again for like 3,000 years. Exactly. I mean, again, yeah, you can read the Old Testament. This is nothing new, for sure. Man, this right here to me is wild. This is a brigade, okay? This is like a U.S. Army brigade. 1,000 Palestinians have infiltrated Israel. Do you not realize how big of a deal that is? That is huge, especially, again, somebody said guerrilla warfare style. That is really big. That's like no joke. Okay, that on top of the 2,000 to 5,000 rockets, because I saw multiple reports. It's either 2,000 or 5,000. We'll cut it down the middle. 3,500, who knows? That's a brigade-size element. I wonder how many of them came in by air. Al Jazeera says Israeli forces have surrounded a house in Ofakim settlement and negotiations are underway with the Palestinian fighters who are allegedly holding hostage. So, okay. Negotiations for these hostages? Okay. Damn. Israeli sources estimate at least 1,000 Palestinians managed to infiltrate into Israel through 4 different areas. It is the first time since 1948. All these developments are on Israeli side because they are usually held in Arab areas. I don't know what the United States means with we'll give them what they need to defend themselves. I'm assuming rockets for the Iron Dome. Damn. It's war, but with guerrillas. Not that kind of guerrilla. Why do this when they don't seem to have the power to win? I mean, that's not the objective. I don't think they necessarily want to win. But it's like, I got one. What's that quote or saying when they're like, you see my face, but you should see the other guy's face? It's one of those things. And I know it's like not the best representation of people who are like, I'm not trying to make light of this situation, but it's always been that way. This to me, though, they actually beat Israel. Like straight up, I'm just being honest with you. They beat them. Like, you got to call it what it is, and Israel knows that. I mean, and how do you stop that? You can't stop that. And to your point, why would you do that if you can't win? Palestinians bracing for Israelis' response. In Gaza, people rush to buy supplies in anticipation for days of conflict ahead. Unfortunately, the people who suffer are the innocent civilians. We are afraid, said a Palestinian woman living in Khan Younis. Hey, thank you for the $2 donation. T-SPLY committed to live streaming until it's over. Oh, man, you guys are going to kill. I just woke up. I didn't even have coffee. I will do this for 3 days straight. Kidding. Oof. All right. I mean, we're hitting a little bit over 30 minutes. I think at this point, I'm just going to stop, and then I will come back once we get more and more news. So thank you guys for liking this. Make sure you guys go like the posted video. If you guys like the posted video, it'll help boost this, and then we can keep this going. But I think we do have to stop. And I'd rather get more and more evidence as it comes in so we can give a... I would love to show combat footage, but it won't let me on here. All right. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to post this. If you missed anything, go back and rewatch this. We did a deep dive into all of this. Thank you for the donations. Hopefully this ends soon, but man, oh man. This is wild. So again, thank you guys for everything. We'll see you guys later.